Guitarristas, ya sabéis que como siempre os tenemos mal acostumbrados a entrevistas estupendas y otra vez, hoy volvemos a tener una entrevista de lujo. Estamos con alguien que ha tocado con Carlos Santana, Steve Vai, Michael Jackson, en fin, yo creo que poco más se puede hacer en el mundo de la guitarra que lo que ha hecho nuestra invitada de hoy, que es Orianthi. Orianthi, it's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. What a beautiful place. This is insane.
The museum, Guitar Legends Hall, it's an awesome place.
Yeah, it truly is. I want to move in.
Okay, absolutely. Sorry, because it's very warm these days in Barcelona.
It is, indeed. It really is. I mean, we're just walking around. I'm going, wow, I didn't know it got this hot. You know, coming from Australia, it's hot there, but
You're currently on tour presenting your latest work, Some Kind of Feeling. How's it been so far?
it's been amazing. Honestly, I have not been back to Europe for quite some time. Last time I was here was with Richie doing the RSO tour and supporting Bad Company. So that was amazing. And I didn't know how many people are going to show up to my shows, but having most shows sold out or packed out has been incredible, and I feel the love. So I just want to thank everybody that's come out, and you know, I just want to keep on putting out better music. So this record I'm really proud of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although fans had the chance to hear some singles time before, what the reactions have been to the whole album?
And yeah, people are singing along in the audience. So when I'm playing the songs for like the first time, I see all these people singing, and it's like crazy. It makes me feel really good.
Some of the songs like Sharp Dressed Man, you had been playing that one for a long time, but this time you included it in the album. It's a studio version, isn't it?
Yeah, because you know I keep on like jamming it with my dear friend Billy Gibbons, who's a complete legend. And when I was 16 years old, I got to open for ZZ Top, which was a complete honor. And the last time I performed with Billy was for his birthday party at the Troubadour in LA, and we sang that song together. We're in the studio and we're just jamming it because I play it live sometimes. I said to Kevin Shirley, who produced the record, I'm like, let's just cut a version. And then it turned out really cool. It was just a fun song. I think coming from a girl is kind of cool too, like because you know, girls like sharp-dressed men, so, you know. So I thought it was a bit of fun.
I'm always amazed by the history of your life because you made such great things at such a young age. It's like amazing because I see your first album was when you were 14, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's so unusual. You were so young, but yet you had the mature thinking to, you know, record an entire album.
Yeah, I started playing guitar when I was 6 years old, piano before that, and my dad, guitar player, so there's guitars everywhere, and I just felt like, you know what, I want to do this the rest of my life. I want to, you know, write songs. I, you know, grew up listening to the Beatles as well, and there's such songwriters, Roy Orbison, Elvis Presley, so it wasn't just about like shredding and all that, it was about like structuring a song, then learning how to produce, learning how to engineer, learning how to do all that. So my interest in music is on many different levels. You know, my passion for it. It's not just playing guitar, which absolutely fuels everything because I love guitars. They're incredible instruments, but also the sounds you can create coming out of them. Endless possibilities, really, you know. And I just think that it's a really magical instrument. So, yeah, I'm just thankful for it being created, truly.
What would you say that made you pick the guitar over the piano? I know you play both.
Yeah, you know what, I write songs on piano still, which I love to do because I don't know what I'm doing, which is cool. But with guitar, you know, it's got such, I don't know, just dynamic to it. And, you know, when I put on a guitar, there's a sense of power, you know, that comes with holding a guitar and you plug it in and it's like, there's something about it that I don't know, I just get along well with the guitar. So after seeing Jimi Hendrix, Carlos Santana, I'm like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, I think you usually mention Carlos Santana as a moment where you realized that you love guitar. I think you were like 10 or 11 probably. Could you tell us a bit about Carlos Santana and his influence on you?
I was 11 years old when I saw Carlos perform with my father. He played Europa, and it was so beautiful. I mean, his tone, the intention behind each note, everything was very powerful, you know. And after seeing Jimi Hendrix on film, because obviously he was not alive when, you know, I was playing guitar, so it was Jimi Hendrix and Carlos Santana were the two reasons why, you know, I wanted to play. And he's like family, him and Cindy. They're both incredible people, and Cindy and I are in a band together now too, which is awesome. So we just celebrated Carlos's birthday about 2 nights ago on stage. Wow. It was in France. It was in Guitarra on Seine. So that was a beautiful evening. And he said, come up for a song. Ended up being 2 songs because we got, had a lot of fun just jamming out. So yeah, bless him. He's awesome.
Carlos is a PRS user, and did that impact in some way the fact that you are using PRS now?
Of course. If it wasn't for Carlos, I would not be playing PRS.
Okay.
Yeah, no question. And as soon as I started playing a Porry Smith, it just felt so comfortable to me. I was able to find my own voice in that through playing that guitar, which I feel obviously is very influenced by Carlos, but I play with a bit more distortion than Carlos and have my own kind of voice. Everyone will have our own fingerprint, so yeah.
Back to your album, what were the, let's say, creative goals this time, or compared to Rock Candy?
Well, Rock Candy kind of had parameters around it. I had a lot of fun creating with my dear friend Jacob Bunton. We wrote and recorded the entire album in 14 days. So that was a goal I set, and we did it. We, handed it in. With some kind of feeling, I was able to do whatever I wanted.
Okay.
So basically create the album I've always wanted to do. And I produced half of the record, well, not half of it, but 4 songs. And then Kevin Shirley produced the rest of it. And it was an honor to work with Kevin. He's a great producer and he's a great person, and he brought a lot of energy to the studio. So I loved it.
Did you have all the songs pretty much finished before you started recording, or was it a process where you on the go?
They're pretty much done because I like to record, do pre-production in my home, bring them in, but then we change things around. Kevin's like, I think you should add this or do something different. I'm like, okay, cool. So we change it up, yeah.
How is a typical pre-production by you? Do you have like a studio where you got a lot of tracks, almost like a record, or is it like just an acoustic guitar and some vocals over it?
Oh no, I pretty much fully produce up demos at home, yeah. How I want them to sound, the textures,
So
all the layers.
they're similar to the final version in many ways.
They're similar, but they're not because they're all programmed, except for the guitars and all the vocals. But yeah, so there's more life to the real thing because you got real drums and we, cut it all live.
Do you ever play with Fender or Gibson sometimes to achieve specific tones, or those are guitars that you don't feel you need when you have PRS?
I collect vintage guitars, so yeah, I do have some very special vintage guitars that I use in the studio, like a 63 Fender. I have a Super 400, 62, 335, old Les Pauls, other old Fenders. I've got a vintage Tellys I've got, really old Martins, stuff like that. Yeah. One guitar from the 1800s I use, which is really cool. Yeah. That one doesn't stay in tune very often, no.
Yeah, do you feel comfortable when you take those out on tour, or you hesitate to do that?
No, I don't take them out.
Okay.
No, I've already had 5 guitars stolen.
Oh, that's too bad.
Not good, because you play and you turn for 1 second and your tour manager turns and somebody just takes them, so it is what it is. People, don't want to pay for them.
I'm surprised because there's, at least from the outside, it looks like there's tons of security there.
Yeah, and then it takes, as I said, 2 minutes for security even turn their heads, you know what I mean? And somebody's in the audience and they want that guitar and they take off with it. Yeah, my last one that was stolen was a Les Paul, and it was really special. So
I'm sorry.
You know what? It's fine because I've had so many other guitars that have fulfilled my heart and life since then that I've been very blessed. So I think when you lose something, the universe brings other things, to you. So I always feel that. And it's just with everything in life too. Like this is what I always find. If I was to give someone something, which I did recently, I gave something and then something comes back. It doesn't unexpected. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Orianthi, you have your signature guitars, of course, which are very popular, but you have also your signature amps. Could you tell us a bit about that?
The Oriverb, yeah, I created that with my dear friend Pat Foley, who's no longer with us anymore, sadly. But man, that amp is my favorite amp. It took about 2 years to create that amplifier, and it came together exactly how I wanted it, truly. And when you set out to find a tone that you just want to plug your guitar straight into the amplifier, no pedals, nothing, you just want that pure tone. Orange pretty much gave me free reins to sort of do whatever I wanted. And I got to meet with Alexander Dumble. I went to his home, and he plugged me into the first amp he ever created, which was insane. And that tone stayed with me forever, you know. And so I wanted something that sounded a bit like a Dumble, like an old Marshall, and an Orange, like all put together, you know. So I think we accomplished it. I mean, everyone that plays through it loves it. So I'm very thrilled with that amplifier. I mean, it's done very well. A lot of people are buying it. And to have all these products that have come out, my Gibson acoustic is the third biggest selling acoustic, next to Bob Dylan and Elvis Presley, which is pretty wild, right? But that guitar came together, and it was just, it was a glorious instrument. You know, I put all of my, you know, brain power into designing it, with the color to the, you know, Lotus inlays, and Gibson in Montana, Robbie Johns, incredible luthier over there. He helped obviously facilitate everything. He's like, you want crystals, you want lotus flowers, you want it red, and I'm like, and I want a 345 neck on it. So it hasn't got a normal neck, it's got an electric neck on an acoustic body. Yeah.
And which one of your electric PRS is your number one that you would immediately plug into that amp?
My purple one.
Purple one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's my favorite.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah.
Please, I know you get this a lot, but could you tell us a bit about meeting Michael Jackson?
That was wild. Yeah. Getting a phone call from Michael Jackson, Michael Bearden. You know, I was signed to a massive record deal with Jimmy Iovine. I was making my record, and they just contacted me because I went on the Grammy Awards with Carrie Underwood. Michael saw me on the Grammy Awards, and he's like, I want her, you know, I guess. I want that crazy Australian. And it was incredible to work with Michael, truly, an honor. Yeah. Yeah.
We're so honored to have you here. I know you have a show today in Barcelona.
I do, yes.
And I'm sure that the fans will be absolutely happy with what you have prepared for them.
Oh, I can't wait.
So thank you, Orianthi. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. This is a beautiful place too. I love it.
Y gracias también a vosotros, guitarristas. Ya veis la suerte, how lucky we are, con la suerte que tenemos de tener a Orianthi aquí. Así que nada, muchas gracias por estar ahí y nos vemos en el próximo vídeo. Hasta pronto.
Thank you so much. Thank you.